Have you ever wondered how major disasters really happen? You know, a plane crash, a catastrophic medical error, a space shuttle explosion. We always look for that one dramatic cause, that single point of failure. But the truth? It's usually way more complex. And the answer lies in one of the most powerful and frankly coolest ideas in safety science, the Swiss cheese model.
Right? I mean, that's the big question. It's what keeps engineers and pilots and surgeons up at night. You've got all these safety measures, all these checklists. So how does it all still go so horribly wrong sometimes? Well, the answer is both surprising and honestly incredibly insightful. And here's the key. This is the crucial insight. Disasters almost never happen because of one single big mistake. They happen when a whole series of smaller, often invisible failures all line up just perfectly, slipping past multiple layers of defense. And that brings us to the model itself. I want you to imagine your organization's safety systems are just like a stack of Swiss cheese slices, see? Each slice is a different layer of defense, things like procedures, training, alarms, technology. And of course, each slice has holes, weaknesses. Normally, one slice blocks the holes in the one behind it, but every now and then, they all line up. This quote from Sandra Brown just nails it. A hazard is always kind of looking for what she calls a trajectory of opportunity. When the holes in all your defenses align, it finds one. And in that moment, the door swings wide open for disaster. So where did this whole idea come from? Well, when a psychologist named James Reason introduced it back in 1990, it was an absolute game changer. I mean, it completely flipped the script. It shifted the entire focus away from blaming the one person who made the final mistake to looking at the entire system that allowed that mistake to become a catastrophe. And here it is. This is the core of Reason's brilliant insight. He realized that failures basically come in two flavors: active failures and latent conditions. And if you can really grasp this difference, you've unlocked the key to the entire model. Okay, so first up, you've got active failures. These are the sharp-end mistakes, the unsafe acts committed by people right there on the front line. The pilot pushing the wrong button, the surgeon making the wrong cut. You feel their effects almost immediately, which makes them really easy to spot. This is what old-school investigations almost always hunted for, the who messed up. But then you have latent conditions. These are the sneaky ones, the hidden problems. Reason called them resident pathogens in the system, which is just a perfect description. They're created by decisions made by designers, managers, or policymakers, sometimes years before an accident even happens. We're talking about stuff like inadequate training, poor equipment design, or relentless pressure to meet deadlines. They can just sit there, dormant for years, waiting for the right moment. So let's see how this plays out in the real world. Imagine an aircraft takes off, but the engine cowlings are unlatched. The active failure is obvious, right? The maintenance crew forgot to latch them. But why did they forget? Well, you start digging, and you find the latent conditions. Turns out the latches were poorly designed and hard to see. The shift handover process was weak, with no double checks, and everybody was under immense pressure to avoid flight delays. See? The active error was just the final, tiny link in a long chain of systemic problems. The real power of this model is just how widely it applies. We can seriously use this framework to understand some of the most complex and tragic failures in modern history. Take the 1986 Challenger disaster. It wasn't just about the O-rings failing in the cold. That was just one hole in one slice of cheese. You had other holes lining up, management that actively ignored engineers' warnings, inadequate testing procedures, and the tragic fact that there was no escape system for the crew. It wasn't one failure, it was multiple layers of defense failing all at the same time. You know, this model even helps us understand public health. Think about the COVID-19 pandemic. No single intervention was perfect, right? Masks have gaps, social distancing isn't always possible, vaccines aren't 100% effective. Each one is a slice of cheese with holes in it. But by layering them all together, masks, distancing, hand washing, vaccines, the overall risk was drastically reduced. It's a perfect real-world example of how layering imperfect defenses can create a really strong collective shield. And its influence is absolutely everywhere today, from preventing wrong-site surgeries in healthcare to stopping meltdowns in nuclear power plants, all the way to defending against major cyber attacks. The Swiss cheese model provides that fundamental framework for building resilient systems. Okay, but as powerful as this model is, we have to be honest, it's not perfect.
And to really get it, we need to take a quick look at its limitations too.
Safety scientist Sidney Dekker made a really key point. He said the model is a fantastic starting point, but it's not the whole story. It shows us that the holes lined up, but it doesn't tell us why those holes were there in the first place or what forces pushed them into alignment. So it perfectly describes the what, but digging into the why requires a much deeper investigation.
And of course, safety science keeps evolving. Newer models like something called STAMP or FRAM, they don't see failure as this simple straight line. They look at the entire messy, complicated web of interactions inside a system. So instead of just focusing on when a barrier fails, they analyze things like inadequate controls or how people's performance changes under pressure. They're definitely more complex, but they all stand on the foundational shoulders that the Swiss cheese model built. So with all those critiques, you might ask, why does this model still endure? Well, its greatest strength is its beautiful simplicity. It powerfully communicates a really complex idea in a way anyone can understand. And in doing that, it single-handedly shifted the entire safety conversation and the culture in countless organizations from asking who messed up to finally asking why did our defenses fail?
So, what does all of this mean for you? Let's boil this all down because this is the most important takeaway from our whole chat.
The lesson of the Swiss cheese model is actually pretty profound. Being fallible is just part of the human condition. We are all going to make mistakes. So the goal isn't to find perfect people who never ever fail. The goal is to design forgiving systems. Systems that expect human error and can absorb it without leading to disaster. And this really shows us the path forward. If you only focus on that active failure, just patching the hole in that very last slice of cheese, you haven't actually made the system any safer. Real, lasting safety improvements come from proactively hunting down and fixing those hidden, latent conditions in the system itself. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What are the systems you rely on every single day? At your job, in your community, maybe even in your own home? What are the hidden holes in your defenses? And more importantly, what can you do to make sure they never, ever get a chance to line up?